feels like death. So she perfects everything, her posture, her timing, her tone. She believes that if she performs flawlessly, pain will not return. But control is a fragile god. It demands constant sacrifice. The hidden cost of being the strong one. People often admire her. They call her inspiring, resilient, the one who keeps it together. Few notice that she's tired. Even fewer ask who comforts her. Because perfection forbids weakness, she cries only in private. Because humor deflects intimacy, no one realizes how. The very traits that draw people to her also isolate her. Underneath, there's a simple truth: she's afraid of being ordinary, because ordinary once meant unsafe. Recognizing the crack in the mask. If you look closely, you'll notice moments where the performance slips. A flash of irritation when someone thanks her too sincerely. A tremor in her voice when laughter lingers. Sign 5, she is addicted to chaos. Peace makes her uneasy. When life becomes still, nothing is collapsing, and no storm is gathering, she begins to feel an emptiness she can't explain. Her mind starts searching for problems. Her body hums with invisible tension. She might create conflict where none existed, or make sudden, impulsive decisions that shake the calm she just earned. To an outsider, it looks like self-sabotage. To her, it feels like home. The body's memory of turmoil. Trauma isn't only psychological, physiological. Grew up in an environment of shouting, neglect, or emotional volatility, her nervous system learned to operate on high alert. That adrenaline became her normal baseline. Peace, then, feels foreign, almost threatening, because it lacks the familiar signals of survival. When calm finally arrives, her body doesn't interpret it as safety. It interprets it as waiting for the next blow. So she unconsciously recreates chaos to restore equilibrium. Jung would call this a repetition compulsion, the unconscious drive to situations, hoping to rewrite the ending. But the ending rarely changes. What changes is her exhaustion. The illusion of aliveness. Chaos gives her a strange sense of vitality. She equates intensity with love, conflict with connection, drama with meaning. Quiet days feel dull, action feels flat. She needs the emotional spikes, the rush of passion, the tears, the apologies, to feel alive. This isn't shallowness, it's conditioning. Her heart learned to equate emotional volatility with importance. If it didn't hurt, it didn't matter. So she chases relationships that mirror her early environment, unpredictable, passionate, unstable. And when peace comes, when someone loves her steadily, that's when she'll pick at something minor, question your tone, or retreat into coldness just to feel a spark again. The unconscious wants to return to the temperature it recognizes. The Stoic lens, freedom from impulse. The Stoics taught that tranquility is the highest form of strength. Epictetus warned against becoming a slave to emotion, writing, "When you are offended at any man's fault, study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." For her, chaos is not chosen consciously, it's reaction. She doesn't yet know that calmness isn't emptiness, it's freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of reaction, from the compulsion to feel in order to know she exists. To help her see this truth, one must embody it. If you respond to her turbulence with equal volatility, the pattern continues. If you meet it with silence and steadiness, you become a mirror of what her spirit secretly longs for, stability that doesn't punish. How chaos becomes identity. Over time, the addiction to chaos seeps into every layer of her identity. She may describe herself as passionate, intense, or a little crazy when it comes to love. These words sound playful, but they hide fatigue. Deep down, she's tired of starting over, tired of burning bridges, tired of wondering why peace never lasts. She fears that if she ever stops fighting, she'll disappear. That fear keeps her trapped. The Stoic answer is moderation. Not repression. When she begins to experience calm as something she can inhabit rather than escape, she begins to reclaim her life from her past. Signs you're seeing the pattern. You'll know she's caught in this loop when she creates emotional highs and lows instead of steady connection. She becomes restless after moments of harmony. She confuses calm with disinterest. She thrives in crisis but feels lost in ordinary peace. These are not red flags to condemn, but maps to understand. They point to a nervous system that has forgotten how to rest. Breaking the cycle. Healing begins the first time she chooses not to react. The first time she allows silence to stretch without filling it with fear. The first time she realizes peace doesn't mean abandonment, it means safety. But this realization doesn't come from words. It comes from repeated exposure to calm, compassionate presence. Over time, the body relearns what the mind already knows, that not every quiet moment precedes pain. Jung believed that integration is achieved not by destroying the shadow, but by befriending it. The part of her that craves chaos isn't evil. It's still looking for attention. When she can hold that part with awareness rather than judgment, chaos loses its grip. And when she finally learns to breathe in peace without suspicion, her beauty changes. It's no longer the fierce, defensive beauty of survival, but the soft radiance of someone who no longer needs the storm to feel alive. There are women who move through the world like poetry, graceful, composed, self-contained, yet when you look into their eyes, something unspoken lingers there. A silence too deep, a gaze too knowing. It isn't sadness exactly, it's recognition, the kind you stand before someone who has already survived several lifetimes inside one. You sense it before she speaks. The way she measures her words. The subtle caution behind her laughter. The invisible behind her softness. She smiles, but there's calculation in it, not manipulation, but vigilance. Every gesture is both invitation and test. Are you safe? Most people mistake this for mystery, allure, or emotional distance. But it is something older, heavier. It is the residue of a dark past. A dark past doesn't always mean obvious tragedy. Sometimes it's years of emotional neglect. Sometimes it's growing up in silence, learning that love equals pain, or that vulnerability invites betrayal. The darkness is not just what was done to her, it's what she had to become to survive it. You can meet such a woman at any stage of life, in an office meeting, at a coffee shop, online, and you'll feel a subtle pull. She's magnetic, not because she tries to be, but because she feels real. She carries depth in a shallow world. But that depth was not born from peace, it was carved by fire. The unseen weight of a woman's history. Every human being carries a story. But some stories have been edited by survival, rewritten not with ink, but with silence. A woman with a dark past does not announce her pain, she conceals it behind layers of adaptation. You won't see you know how to read energy, behavior, and silence. Her life has been shaped by experiences that forced her to build walls where others built memories. Psychology calls it trauma. Jung called it the shadow, the unconscious repository of all we repress, deny, or fear within ourselves. When a woman has lived through darkness, betrayal, abuse, abandonment, shame, that shadow grows dense. Behind beauty, intelligence, charm. It wears masks of competence, humor, or detachment. Beneath them, her nervous system remembers every wound. You might notice it when she flinches at unexpected affection, or when she seems distant just when things get too close. You might see it in how she can read a room instantly, scanning danger, and happen. Sensitivity is not intuition alone, it's vigilance, refined by years of surviving uncertainty. And yet, her darkness is also what gives her depth. Her pain has made her perceptive, self-aware, empathic. She can sit with your silence because she has faced her own. But loving such a woman requires discernment. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins in observation, seeing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. If you want to understand without judgment, to sense the hidden language of her behavior. Not to diagnose. Not to fix. But to see. What follows, not of weakness, but of history. Each is a window into how the past shapes the present, how survival leaves fingerprints on the soul. Sign 1, her eyes tell stories she'll never speak. Her eyes are her biography. They hold what words have learned to conceal. There's a quiet depth to them, a stillness that feels older than her age. Sometimes they seem tired, sometimes they flash with intensity at random moments, as if an old memory just stirred beneath the surface. She doesn't need to tell you about her past, her eyes already have. The human gaze is more than sight, it's energy exchange. Psychologists say the eyes reveal affect regulation, how a person manages emotional states. When someone has endured years of instability or fear, their eyes often carry two energies at once, alertness and fatigue. They are always watching yet longing for rest. You'll notice it when she enters a crowded space. Her eyes sweep the environment before she relaxes. She might position herself near an exit, subconsciously ensuring safety. This isn't paranoia, it's conditioning. Her nervous system was trained to expect the unexpected. And yet those same eyes can soften in an instant. When she feels safe, they become magnetic. As if a light hidden behind a curtain suddenly glows. That contrast, between vigilance and vulnerability, is the telltale signature of someone who has lived through darkness. Jung would say her eyes reveal the integration battle between her shadow and her conscious self. The shadow's pain, the conscious self strives for peace. In moments of connection, the two meet, and the result is that haunting settles. She won't terrify because she knows its cost. To someone who has walked through darkness, love is no longer an innocent word. It's a battlefield of memory. She remembers what love felt like when it was unsafe, when affection came with control, when promises came with pain, when "I love